بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام والصلاة على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. As the brother introduced, and as we were going to see on the video that unfortunately hasn't worked here, we were going to see pictures of this new group called the EDL. And what this group has been doing is basically they've been going up and down the country, carrying out demonstrations and protests against, what they would call extremist Islam. Yeah. So they've gone to some of the biggest cities in Britain: Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds. They've even come down to London in Harrow. So they've been all over the place, yeah. And most of the demos and the protests that they've had has resulted in mass arrests. So in Birmingham, after the protest, after a couple of days, there were about 90 arrests that were made after that demonstration, yeah, because there was a lot of violent clashes. In Manchester, there were dozens of arrests. Even when they came down to Harrow in London, there was around 10 arrests. So wherever they've gone, their protests have resulted in violent clashes with a lot of Muslim youth. And the kind of stuff, the kind of scenes that were there, I mean, if you go onto YouTube after, yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. But there was a lot of fighting, there was a lot of people with bottles, throwing bottles at each other. A lot of people turned up with sticks. They had their faces covered so that they won't get recognised. A lot of public property was damaged or destroyed. You had innocent bystanders, yeah. So a lot of these demos took place in town centres. So you had a lot of innocent bystanders that were just doing their shopping. They were getting caught up in the violent clashes. So people got attacked, people got sucked in. In the Birmingham demos, there was hundreds of riot police, and in Manchester as well. Hundreds of riot police to try and keep the situation on lockdown. But obviously they didn't succeed. And one of the most perhaps abusive or upsetting aspects of their demos is some of the stuff that they were saying, yeah, some of the slogans. And most of them you can't repeat in a venue like this, yeah. But some of the stuff they were saying was, for example, Muslim bombers off our streets. Yeah, we hate Pakis. Pakis go home. This kind of stuff. No more mosques. Very inflammatory, very provocative language. Yeah, very abusive language. And when you find out, how the EDL was formed and who these guys really are, it comes as no surprise that these events really occurred. Yeah. So, like the brother said, the EDL is a new group. So it was formed about 8 months ago in March. And basically, it's rumoured that it was formed by this carpenter called Tony, who's hates Islam, and he's a football hooligan as well. And basically, he's got this Facebook group. He's got some followers on it, yeah. And he noticed that there's other Facebook groups that are similar to him. Yeah, they hate Islam, and they're football hooligans as well. So he thought it'd be a good idea if they all worked together. So he formed this coalition, which is called the English Defence League, the EDL. Now, the people that form this group, the EDL, like I said, they all hate Islam and they're all football hooligans. And they're all members of these football firms. So I don't know if you guys have seen the film Green Street. Yeah? They're typical of those kind of guys. Skinheads. There's three things that they do in life. They go to football matches, they go to the pub and get drunk, and they have fights. That's all they do. Yeah, those are their favourite pastimes. That's what their whole life revolves around. So it actually came as a bit of a surprise that these guys actually went on this campaign. Yeah, because campaigns like this and demos and protests, they require a lot of effort. Yeah, you've got to plan it, you've got to contact the police, you've got to book the coaches. There's a lot of organisation, a lot of time, a lot of cost that's involved. Yeah. If you're a normal football hooligan that hates Muslims, what you do is you just go to the football match, let's say West Ham, yeah? You'd find a bunch of Muslims and you just beat them up, yeah? Or you just abuse them on the terraces or whatever, yeah? That's the easiest thing to do. So there's got to be something very important, yeah? And something very important and significant to lure these guys out of the football terraces and out of the pubs, to go all over the country organising these demos. So the question is, what is the aim of the EDL? Why have they really gone to all of this effort? And the answer is, brothers, is that the EDL, they form part of this wider agenda against Islam and against the Muslim community. And what they've done is they've set a massive trap for the Muslim community. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to go to all of these cities around Britain and they wanted to provoke the Muslims into a violent reaction. Yeah? So if you look at some of the stuff they said, yeah, very, very abusive, very provocative things. Yeah? They wanted the Muslims to come out and they wanted to have a big ruck. That was their main aim. And the reason why they wanted to do that is because they want to show the rest of Britain, look at this Muslim community. Yeah? You criticize them and they just turn around and they want to have a fight. Yeah? They're just violent, problematic community. Yeah? You can't reason with them. Yeah? They're very intolerant. That's what they wanted to show the rest of the British public. Now that might sound a bit conspiracy theory, you know, I might be being a bit paranoid, but if you look at what led up to the Harrow demonstration as an example, yeah, you'll see that it was actually brilliantly designed to get this reaction out of the Muslims. So what happened before the Harrow demonstration? About 2 to 3 weeks before, we had these text messages going out to everybody. Yeah, did anyone here get a text about the Harrow demo? Okay, a lot of us. Yeah, I got several texts. And most of them, one of them, yeah, said that 1,500 racists are going to come down to Harrow and attack the masjid. Yeah, not maybe attack, yeah, they're going to come and attack the masjid. And it carried on and said, look, if you're a true mu'min, yeah, if you're a Muslim male, it's your duty to come down and defend the masjid. Yeah? So if you get this text and you don't go down, you're going to feel like a bit of asado, yeah? The mosque's going to get attacked, and if I don't come down, I'm not a true Muslim. Yeah, so it's like, that's how it's been painted. Yeah, you have to come down. If you don't come down, you're just a wuss. So that's what happened, you know, a few weeks before. So you had all of these texts. So the atmosphere is building. Yeah. And what are the other circumstances that surrounded the demo? Firstly, it was in Ramadan. Yeah. So usually in Ramadan, everybody's feeling this, you know, Islamic emotion. Yeah. Everyone's high on Islam. Yeah. You can have people that don't practice Islam for the whole year, don't think about Islam, they don't visit the mosque at all. But when it comes to Ramadan, everyone's in the mosque. Yeah? Everyone's feeling Islam. Everybody wants to do good Islamic actions. That's the first thing. So it was planned to be held in Ramadan. The second thing is that it was due to be held on Friday. Yeah? So we all know that Jum'ah is on Friday. So you're naturally going to get a lot of people in the masjid because of Jum'ah. So they've already guaranteed there's going to be plenty of people down. The third thing is that it was on September the 11th. Okay? Now we all know what happens on September the 11th. There's always, you know, this remembrance about what happened in New York. So people are thinking back and they're thinking, you know, these violent Muslims, they blew up Twin Towers, etc. So there's already this kind of anti-Islamic feeling on September the 11th because they're remembering those events. So anything that occurs on that day that involves Muslim community, you're bound to get media coverage, yeah? There's no doubt about that. And the fourth thing is, like I said before, the demo was going to take place outside the masjid. Now, I don't know if you guys have been to Harrow and you've been to Harrow Mosque, but basically in Harrow you've got two masajid, then they're both next to each other. The old mosque is basically two houses that, you know, they've been converted into a masjid, and it's a very old mosque. But right next to it, they're building a massive 5-story masjid, and it looks really nice. It's really new, massive minaret. Yeah, it's like top-class facilities, etc. So Muslims already have a lot of emotion and attachment to the masjid, because obviously that's where we pray. It's Bayt Allah. You know, it's where the Jummah is held, etc. So we've already got that attachment to the mosque. But on top of that, there's this massive new mosque as well that's been built. That's cost millions of pounds and it's taken a lot of effort. So if you're going to pick the best circumstances to get a lot of people down with a lot of emotion, yeah, you couldn't have planned it better than this. And other evidence to suggest that this was a trap, bros, is that the mosque requested from the